We're getting into our quarterfinals right now. You're here just in time to enjoy this banger of a TVT. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Hardwire. We have our red Terran player on the Mlem Clan for Team Liquid. It is Clem. Mlem. I love it. I love the polar. It's my favorite thing. This is why I cast Clem, not for good gameplay, but just for this cute little bear. Just for a cute little bear. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner is, of course, our blue Terran for Kitesy Gaming. Oop, I hit the whoosh at the wrong time. Spirit. We're whooshing everywhere over here. We'll just keep going. No, it should be a very good TVT that we have on our hands here. Obviously, Clem, one of the strongest Terrans in the world. But I do often feel like TVT, maybe his weakness a little bit, maybe a slight Achilles heel. He definitely was improving at it all throughout this past year. But I still feel like Spirit might be a little stronger in the matchup. Well, we shall see. It's gonna be a good one regardless, I think. Only a best of 3. We're in the quarterfinals. The winner of this goes up against Max Packs. So we just got more good games coming. Wow. Twitch chat getting wild. But yeah, if you guys missed it the other day, I did some big drag makeup and put glitter on my beard, and I was blue. I was all blue. It was so much blue. It was a good time. It was a good time. You know, some days I'm casting StarCraft. Some days I'm putting on crazy makeup and costumes. And singing a bunch of karaoke. You just never really know what you're going to get here. Twitch.tv/ChickenmanSC. So make sure to hit that follow button. And while you're at it, you know, go follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube. You know, all the things. All the things. If you got Amazon Prime, hit that Twitch Prime button. If you don't, but, you know, you still want to hit that sub button, just slam that sub button down, baby. Support the channel. I appreciate y'all. We got the double Reaper follow-up here for Clem, so he's going to get a little bit aggressive with his triple Reaper Hellion opener. Potentially. Although Spirit's actually got more stuff coming. Yeah, I'm just making sure we didn't miss anything yet. Yeah, Spirit's actually going to go for 5 Reapers. Oh my god, he's got 2 more on the way. That's going to be 6 Reapers. And he's going to have 3 Hellions. Spirit is going insane at the start of this game. Clem already has a tank on the way, so Clem's going to have a bit of a push. Usually there'll be a medevac with this, and you lift the Marines and tank into the medevac. And then get to the other side of the map quite quickly. There it is. But Spirit's just going full on with the Reaper Hellion memes. Which might make it a little difficult to handle this, but at the same time, I mean, okay, Clem's going to siege up back at home. That is definitely the right call here. Spirit could definitely get punished for taking a big tank shot. These units don't have that many hit points. But as I say that, Clem picks up, and he's going to have to drop right back on down. That siege tank is going to be crucial in the defense here, as Spirit's just got so many units. But he's still taking a pretty good fight. As I say that, he loses a couple more, and he keeps diving in. He's not really getting the kills I think he was hoping for. Ooh, the Cyclone chasing. You'll love to see it. Spirit gets out of there with 1 Hellion and 2 Reapers. Trades, honestly, almost identical. So, the nicest thing I think here for Spirit is that Clem is going to have a tough time actually doing that push, right? He's going to leave the tank at home now. He doesn't even push out the medevac. He just was checking for those Reapers if they were going to jump back in. But they are not. Spirit dropping his 3rd CC. Clem's got his on the way. bit of an early game scuffle, but as we expect with the highest level of TVTs, it actually doesn't really affect anything. I feel like that is the it's really what I've come to expect. Like the early game TVT moves, even with the pressure like Clem was gonna put on, it just doesn't feel like it's super impactful. It's just because both the players handle it so well that they don't, you know, overcommit or lose too much to the attack or anything like that. So it speaks to the respect the players have for one another. But now we're getting into more standard TVT action. We've got Ravens coming out, tanks, Marines, Stim is on the way. 1-1 started out for Clem. Wait, no, he started +1 armor. Oh, he canceled it to start Stim. And now he's going to go back and start +1 armor. Oh my god. I was like, wait a minute, why did he do that? Because he wanted to get Stim going first. He prioritized Stim over having his upgrades timeout, which, I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't know that it's going to make that much difference, but we'll see. Maybe he'll need to take an engagement right as Stim finishes, and we'll be proven completely wrong. Spirit just now starting his engineering base, so he is going to be way behind in that 1-1, which might be a big deal. A lot of it's just going to come down to how often the Marines engage versus, you know, just kind of posturing with the tanks. But it will be impactful for sure. You do not want to be behind like half an upgrade, which is about where Spirit is at. I know in chat it seems like Clem obviously going to be a big favorite here. Who doesn't love Clem? And who doesn't think he's one of the best players in the world? I'll tell you guys right now, Spirit is not an underdog in this best of 3. It's a best of 3 TVT, Spirit versus Clem. Spirit is not an underdog. I don't think either player is an underdog. I actually put this very close to even. But I think it'd be a mistake to consider Spirit the less likely player to win this. He is so strong at the matchup. One of Spirit's best abilities, one of his biggest strengths, in my opinion, is his zoning and his army movement with these siege units. He's really good in late games for the same reason. His Liberator control, his tank control, Ghost control, even Raven, his Raven control is very good. So his ability to kind of zone and defend different locations is very strong. And that is the most important thing in TVT. Being able to zone your opponent and correctly kind of understand where your opponent is going to move, have good scouting out on the map. That is what TVT is all about. And we already see this position for Spirit is so nice here. He's just chilling in the middle of the map, but it's such a nice spot on this map, Hardwired. Oh, man, look at that. The Vikings one-shotting 2 of those medevacs. Suddenly, Clem has significantly less healing, but also can't just lift up and get out with all of his units. As a great job there for Spirit. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but again, it just comes down to that bit of zoning. We see the scan from Clem. It sees absolutely nothing. It might have seen a Marine or 2 walking through, but that is it. And that is very unfortunate. Clem a bit concerned with where his opponent is, and look at how far back he is. Look at where this tank line is for Clem. He needs to unsiege a few of those and move them forward. But Spirit's on his half of the map. He is here. Clem's army isn't really ready to take this fight right now. Spirit also has significantly more Vikings, so his air control is very, very nice. But good pullback from Clem, keeping his Ravens safe with those Marines. But the Marines, there's like a really interesting interaction between the tanks, the Marines, the Ravens, and the Vikings, and the Liberators, which right now Clem does not have the tools to deal with the Liberators or his opponent's Ravens. And because of that, his tanks are going to move backwards, which is going to allow Spirit to get better positions with his tanks. Oh, I think Clem's just going to dive forward, but the stim is so late. There's an anti-armor missile and auto turrets going down for Spirit. Clem sieges up, but he loses so many Marines. And it's such an anti-timing. He's about to finish 2-2. If he had waited for that, he could have had a big advantage. Oh my god, and the pathing. Guys, that is GG. I don't know what to tell you. That is the end of this game. Just a fantastic, pure TVT here out of Spirit, who, I don't know, man. It feels like Clem just wasn't ready for this. Spirit handling this army perfectly, and Clem making a few potentially, I would say, uncharacteristic mistakes. But this is what makes Spirit so scary. The slow push here, and there's just nothing Clem can do about it. He's going to go kill that Liberator at the expense of about 15 Marines. And now he lifts, and the Vikings are going to do so much damage to this base. He does keep it alive with the SCVs, but it feels like it's temporary hope, right? Spirit's actually going to dive forward with his Marines, finally sacrificing his units to take a good fight here, and he will clean up all of those tanks. Clem's got 2 more tanks up here, but, I mean, it's just so painful. 18 SCVs going down. Spirit's got a 4th base. He's up 20 workers. Clem's going to try to surround the tanks here. And Clem actually does have the Viking lead now, so that is a really nice thing for him. Spirit might want to unsiege and leave up north. Spirit reinforcing. Bit of a weird one here. Clem trying to, I think he wants to collapse on top of this. Good tank shots actually at the beginning here. But he does have to be careful about the Marines of Spirit potentially hitting on this side as well. Oh, Spirit trying to break these rocks down. They're about to break. He needs to bring these tanks over. This is a bit of a weird fight. I really thought Clem was honestly straight up dead, but he's got a new 4th base established. He's still down a lot of workers, but I talk about it a lot. That's not what's super important in TVT. It's much more important to have good positioning, and Clem taking down 3 siege tanks right there. The supply is a lot closer than I would have expected it to be with Spirit's incredible economic lead. But Clem keeping up in army supply, and now he's kind of out-positioning Spirit. Spirit sacrificed a lot to try to stim in. He landed his Vikings earlier and ended up losing 10 Vikings, which is why he just doesn't have air control. In fact, he stopped even going for air control, instead opting for the medevacs. He's going to go in for the fight now, but all these tanks sieged up for Clem are doing a great job in the back. Clem does lose some units over on the left side here, I think, but oh, he's going to keep on diving forward. I don't know about this engagement, though. He's fighting into some tanks. Spirit does siege up a bunch more tanks. Clem actually wins that fight with the Marines, and Spirit doesn't have any Marines left. Clem's going to land his Vikings, and he's going to take out all these tanks. Spirit had this game, but he sacrificed all of his air control, and Clem was able to counter push because of that, taking the better positions. And now Spirit has no tanks to fall back to. He's trying to make Vikings, but the Vikings aren't really going to help now because he doesn't have the siege tanks. He's pulling the SCVs, but he's losing the fight anyways. And now Spirit is the one evacuating his base. Suddenly, that economic lead he had is completely gone, and in fact, he might even lose this base. Not quite. Not quite. Keeps that alive at the very least, but Clem has taken a 20 army supply lead. We have a full flip on its head. Here I am calling game earlier in that fight, and it just doesn't go that way.
Wow.
And now Clem, he might be able to take down this planetary. He's got 4 tanks sieged up here. They're going to start putting pressure on it. He does have to be careful. If you click on that, when the Marines stim in, the tanks will just keep shooting at the planetary. That is a big problem. I don't know where the hell that tank came from, but Spirit losing yet another siege tank. He is keeping this base alive for now. But Clem retargeting over on that siege tank. He's going to go for the planetary. He's going to get the planetary. He'll grab a couple of Vikings as well, and Clem taking a nice position here. I will say Spirit's got a new base over on the left. He's retaking his 3rd, and he looks like he's pushing this back, actually trying to take advantage of this, sieging up so many Liberators. Why does he have like 37 Liberators right now? I don't know, but he does, and he is going to successfully push Clem back. It looked like Clem might be able to go for the full-on counter win, but we've actually equalized, man. Look at the supplies. They're one supply different after all of that. The economies are very similar. They're both on relatively even base. Actually, yeah, it is dead even bases right now. The army supply is basically the same. The upgrades are even extremely similar. The only difference here is Clem has +2 on his tanks, but Spirit's got huge air control with these Liberators, and that zoning is something Clem can't deal with right now. Clem is making more medevacs, which are not going to get him air control. There's only 3 Vikings here for Spirit. Clem would need to make like 1 round of Vikings. Oh, he's only got 1 starport. That is actually a huge deal. Cobra X, thank you so much for the resubscription. While we've got a moment here, I don't know why Spirit's attacking into this, but he will kill it. It looks like Clem is going to be able to take this position out. Spirit going to pick up. He's going to just try to pull as much of that out of there as he can. He killed the base, though, which puts Clem down to 4 bases. And, oh, the Liberator. No, just siege up right here. Oh, man. Spirit, he's not watching. I guess it doesn't really matter. There's nothing to deal with the Liberator anyways, but trying to figure it out. Maybe he'll get a few SCVs. This is crazy. This game has come back in a big way on both sides. Liberator sieges up. The Marines are here. Gets a couple Marines, and that's about it. If it had just sieged up right away, that kills like 8 SCVs. Causes a lot of lost mining time. Clem, though, does have a big army supply lead now. After cleaning up the army here, he killed a lot of Marines, killed a lot of tanks. Well, a few tanks, a few Liberators. He ends up with an army supply lead. Spirit's going to try to chase him out. And he will do so. Clem's army is pretty weak, though. Like, these tanks, a lot of these tanks are very low. So it wouldn't take very long if the Marines were able to jump on top of it. Clem needs to siege up, though, if he's going to be posturing out here. But again, the problem becomes he doesn't have anything to deal with the Liberators. So if the tanks siege under the Liberators, I mean, he's going to be in a bad spot. I do like this drop, though. Gotta be careful not to let the Marines run into the planetary, but if they stay back here, the SCVs can't mine until that's cleaned up. Spirit diving forward. He's going to take out a couple tanks, sieges up a nice Liberator position, but pulls back from Clem's tanks as they siege. I'm going to keep pulling back. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. The tank siege, but it's kind of late. 3 tanks are targeted down immediately. Spirit gets on top of those siege tanks. He sacrifices a lot of Marines for it, but it was well worth it. I think that was 6 or 7 tanks that just died for just a handful of Marines. Well worth it. This game, despite the high base count, I feel like it's been very scrappy. And as I say high base count, Clem is going to snipe one of Spirit's bases. He's still causing issues back here, although it looks like it's just 1 Marine. It's Gabe, guys. It's Gabe. It's HeroMarine. He's being healed. The medevac's going to run out of energy. I know there's a big doom drop happening, but this is the real action of the game right here. This Marine with 7 kills. It's a corporal. He's still going. He's still got it. There's a drop. It's getting cleaned up. GG gets called. Clem takes the game, and it's because of that Marine. Oh my God, what a hero. I can't believe it. I cannot believe Clem takes that game. Spirit went for a big drop at the end there, and it just didn't get too much more done, unfortunately, for Spirit. And Spirit had that game. I think he is kicking himself for landing the Vikings, for stimming in with his Marines when he didn't really have to. He'd already done the damage, really, and taken good trades, but he went for the throat. I thought he had it, and I think he thought he had it. But Clem, he held on. He kept going, man. He pulls it back. It's actually insane that he was able to pull it back. Let's get into our second one here. I hope it is just as good, maybe even better. Could it be? Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, we have our red Terran player for Team Liquid and the Mlem clan. It is Clem. His opponent, the upper right-hand corner for Kitesy Gaming in the blue, Spirit. I do feel like Spirit showed what I was talking about, though. He is not a he's not a pushover. In this matchup, he's very, very strong in TVT, and I feel like him and Clem can go toe-to-toe. Absolutely. That's right. Clem needed to call in backup for that one. He needed Gabe's help. Gabe out here playing his own game, but also popping into game just to help Clem out a little bit. Is that allowed? Is that like account sharing? if you have somebody in the game, it's like Tron. Dude, imagine Tron, but you go into the game of StarCraft. Sounds terrifying. Be kind of a cool idea, though. Could do Troncraft. Well, you know, even the start of last game was pretty exciting with Spirit's opening of the 6 Reapers, 3 Hellions diving across the map. Again, it didn't really get much done. It was kind of just even trades, but it was exciting at least. We'll see if we'll see something exciting like that this game. Spirit's Reaper diving kind of far in. Needs to be a little careful. And it wasn't careful. Oh, Reaper grenade. Not enough. Not enough. Clem's micro too good. Spirit getting a little too greedy, diving in to see that that command center. Spirit coming over now. The Hellion's about to pop, so Spirit probably feeling a little more confident about taking this fight. Clem, though, actually going to dive in, gets the Reaper. He's trying to body block the Hellion. Look at him go. Look at him get the body block. Ah, it doesn't quite work, but he's got his own Hellion here. Spirit at least gets the Reaper. Oh, but not the next Reaper. Uh-oh. Spirit's got double Marine on the way. He doesn't have anything coming out of the factory. Oh, he's got another Hellion. At least he's got that. The command center finishes. This Mule might be in a little trouble, but I think the Marines coming down should be enough here. Oh, as I say that, though, Clem keeping the pressure on with another Hellion. Uh-oh, man. Uh-oh, this low ground. He's going to have to evacuate the low ground. Clem realizing there's not much here. He's going to try to stop those units from escaping. He does get 4 SCV kills and forces this Mule to not mine for a while, which is a big deal because, of course, Clem, he's got all that going on back at home. He drops another Mule. And he's taking good trades. Jesus, against the army. Oh, my God. Excuse me. Surprise sneezes sometimes, you know? Look at Clem right now. 800 to 300 resources lost. That is insane. Okay, the Cyclone is out, so that is that puts the end to that. But the Cyclone can't catch these units, so he can't even punish them. The Cyclone just says, go away, and Clem's like, all right, I did plenty of damage. This is an insane opening for Clem, and this is where Clem's ability of micro really, really shines, right, is in these early game TVT skirmishes. As the game gets later, the micro isn't quite as important. It again comes back to zoning and positioning, which I think Spirit is, honestly, I think he's better than Clem at that. But Clem's micro is so good, and his game sense just feels so strong that it's just tough to play against him. Oh my God, is that cats? That real cats in my chat? Wow. It's true, Spirit is no cats. That's a fact. That's a fact. There's no proxy hatches out on the map in this series. But, you know, tanks, Marines. Single Raven here for Spirit? Yeah, just the one. Okay. Maybe trimming off that second Raven. That can be really impactful, though, in its EVT. Ravens, especially in the early game and in the late game, not quite as much in the mid game as we saw last game. The Ravens weren't super important. But in the early game, when you have like 2 or 3 tanks, if all 3 tanks get shut down and you don't get to do that to your opponent, I mean, that is an extremely painful position to be in. So the good news for Spirit will be that his Vikings, he'll actually have a Viking lead because he started his Vikings earlier, which might be able to take down Clem's Ravens before they become super impactful, or at least one of them, before it's able to drop all its spells. Auto turrets can be huge as well. They do a ton of damage, and also they have a lot of health. Very important parts in a TVT skirmish, but Spirit's actually on double factory. Oh my god. Spirit's going mech. Wow, wow, wow. That is not what I expected. Clem, of course, just going for Marines. Stim on the way. 1-1 started up. I feel like mech has started to come back into popularity a little bit in TVT. For a while, I pretty much never saw it, and when I did see it, it didn't feel like it worked all that well. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I've seen it a little bit more recently, and it's actually been looking quite solid. That being said, the last time I saw mech, actually, Clem was going mech up against Vindicta. And Vindicta went full on bio, like Marines, Marauders all over the place. And ended up taking game 1, looking very strong. So, I don't know, maybe mech isn't that good if Clem lost his mech game to Vindicta. Or maybe mech is extra good, and it's just that we're in the hashtag year of MiGs. Maybe that's what it is. Clem putting pressure out on the map. I talk about this sometimes in TVT. I always favor the player who's out putting pressure on the map. In game 1, initially that was Spirit, right? He postured in the middle, and he was able to take a good position because of it. Because positioning's so important, the person who starts repositioning first has an advantage, an inherent advantage, because the other player has to react to that. So they are responding later. They unsiege their tanks later, they move their units later. So the person doing the initial movement has an advantage in that way. And usually that's the person who's putting pressure out on the map. So I tend to favor that person in the TVT. But Spirit's only defending 1 base right now. So he doesn't really have too much to worry about. When he takes the 4th, that's when it does start to get a little dicey, right? There's only 4 tanks here. That's really not that many. Especially if Clem was able to put some pressure on. But the sensor tower is telling Spirit that there's no units over here. And in fact, Clem is over on the left side where there is no sensor tower. He's going to hit the scan and see, oh, that's a lot of Vikings. There's not really much I can do about that right now. But he's going for the drop in the main base, some Blue Flame Hellions, and a siege tank trying to clean this up. The Viking will take down the medevac. And it looks like the tank will be able to finish this up with the landed Vikings. But, landed Viking actually focusing on a supply depot. And in the meantime, Clem's still posturing in the middle. 8 SCVs went down in the main, as well as a couple of Hellions. Tank stays alive. The Viking did go down as well, though. So a good drop there for Clem, who is taking this 4th base. It looks like Spirit's trying to take the 5th. He's just going straight for it, man. I love to see that kind of aggressive expansion out of Spirit, but he's being very, very defensive, which is, it's a tough way to play. But I do feel like Spirit has a very strong, again, defensive kind of zoning play. I think he's really, really good at this. What makes him such a powerhouse in late game TVZ as well is that same kind of ability. But Clem is no slouch, and he might be able to put some pressure on here. Anti-armor missile does hit some of those Marines, so they're not going to want to dive forward. Not the most impactful thing, though. We could see him try to sneak through the center here. And actually, if he got his tank sieged up in a nice spot, that'd be very annoying. posturing with multiple armies, Clem is. But Spirit seems pretty buttoned up. Oh, as I say that, we got the shutdown on 4 of the siege tanks. Clem gonna get sieged up, and he's gonna take down all 4 of those, it looks like. Auto turret's gonna drop some counter auto turrets here, but the Raven goes down, the Vikings land. Clem moving the rest of his army over here to maybe have a bit of a follow-up. He took down the sensor tower. Oh, we got a Viking war. What's the Viking count right now? It's 9-13. Actually, Clem is ahead, although most of them aren't here. It looks like he's maybe banking them. Yeah, he's got a bunch right here. He's still trying to find an opportunity. He doesn't realize this base is here. Otherwise, he could definitely go. Even just sending a few Marines there could be impactful. But he's going to try to take this position. It's going to be tough for Spirit to break through right now. Spirit's got some Thors, which can be very helpful against enemy Vikings and potentially enemy Liberators. The Planetary will eventually finish and kill these 3 Marines, but... Oh, I like this from Spirit. Killing the rocks gives him a bit more surface area here to work with. Clem, of course, has his own 5th base up and running. The worker count's actually pretty much even at the moment. Oh, Spirit's going to try to break this. Oh, I don't know if I like that, though. This is very, very dicey. These Thors are going to get taken down, and that means that Clem's very, very superior air army is going to dominate this fight. There's 1 Thor left. It looks like the Marines all did die to this Planetary, which has 12 kills. Just chilling here, getting repaired now. That allowed Spirit to get a few SCVs down here, so he can actually start mining the gas at the very least. But Clem still holding a very strong position. And now we've got tanks on this and a Liberator to stop any repair. Oh, that is so, so nice. And it looks like Clem will finally get this base. At the same time, he's got a few units hitting over here. I don't think they're going to do anything, so they're just going to chill for now. I do like that he's going into Marine Marauder behind this, but he's also going into full-on air army. He's got 3 reactored starports. Liberator range is almost done. We do have Ravens coming out of Spirit, though. He's got Corvid reactors about to finish. And, yeah, we're going into Sky Terran for both sides, which is kind of insane, honestly. Spirit just immediately is going to replace this base as soon as it dies. Scan to see that Clem, yes, he does in fact have this base. In fact, he's got this one as well. Clem's in a great spot right now. Make no mistake, the big siege up of the Liberators. And could we have the Vikings land? No, he's not going to land the Vikings, which I think is a good call. You don't want to sacrifice your air army right now. But Clem is really putting the squeeze onto Spirit. Goes for the split here with the bio. He's going to take down these 2 siege tanks. The Thor might be able to clean up the rest of these units, but still, that defensive position is now gone. And Clem, he's going to take down a lot of tanks over here. Auto turrets going down. Spirit trying to break this. He does still have 2 Thors available, but the siege tanks are going to help zone those. Anti-armor missile on these Vikings means that Spirit takes a pretty good trade, but it still feels like Clem can actually still stand and fight a little with this. And again, his economy is superior. Spirit has not been able to take a 5th, and now he's down 11 workers. So Clem can afford to take slightly inefficient trades. Spirit, not quite as much. Oh my god, the Viking count. He's just making so many Vikings. That's 7 on the way right now. Already got 13. And the problem is, if the tank count gets low enough here for Spirit, a bio switch, or even just the bio, like stimming forward, Marauders are so good against mech. The only thing is they die quite quickly to a bunch of tanks. But when there's only 2 siege tanks, also, worth noting, Vikings can land. And landed Vikings, pretty good units. Pretty good. They crush Hellbats. They do pretty decently against Thors. I'm actually getting a little bit worried here for Spirit, who is on this very, very clunky, immobile army. The Cyclone doesn't even have mag field accelerators, and it's going to kill this Thor. Oh my god. Oh! The repair at the last second. The SCV saving that Thor from death by about 3 hit points. Spirit trying to take this base, but Clem says no. Clem says, actually, that's a dead command center. I'm sorry, bud. Spirit trying to come over and defend it, but he's on like mass Thor Viking right now, which unfortunately can be a problem. Again, the lack of siege tanks. If a few Marauders go this way and a few Marauders go this way and the Vikings land, I'm actually not sure that Spirit wins this fight. A couple Vikings running into the wrong side here, but the Liberators will get away. Finally, Spirit's able to secure his 5th base, but he's lost some workers, looks like, to this Liberator, which is going to run into a bunch of turrets and then get some more kills. The income's been heavily Clem favored for the last 5 minutes, and the Liberator will die, but gets 9 total SCV kills, which is just fantastic for Clem, who's now up 20 workers on 6 bases, taking a 7th, and he could take an 8th. He absolutely could take this base. There's nothing to stop him. Spirit, I mean, he's holding on, but it feels like he's barely holding on. He's going to land a few Vikings and just move forward, take down the turrets. He can take down the sensor tower, but he's got the bio underneath. Yeah, I don't know how Spirit actually comes back from this one. Honestly, if they took a big army trade right now, Clem could replenish a huge amount of his army with bio, and that can be so powerful. Oh my god, he's got 3 siege tanks stuck in the main. Guys, Clem has been playing this whole game, I don't know how long, with 3 tanks stuck in the main. He's maxed right now. He's maxed, and these tanks are stuck. I don't know how they're stuck. They can't get out here. So they popped out. They must have popped out from this one. They can't get out anywhere. They're too fat. These tanks are too fat, guys. This depot is actually what's stopping them from leaving. Just this one. Or this reactor. But all right. Spirit's actually going to poke in. Clem is pulled back. Spirit's up army supply because he has 30 less workers, so he can go up to 30 more army supply. And he's got a ton of Vikings here. Big anti-armor missile on top of Clem's army. We've got a lot of auto turrets. We've got a lot of not so auto turrets here hitting Spirit's Vikings. Oh, and the Liberators can get the splash damage. That's very dangerous for Spirit. He knows it. But Spirit's going to keep on pushing through. God, that command center dies so fast. What is the Viking count? 28 to 14. Clem needs to stop building Vikings. The tanks, man. Lower the depot. Oh, no, dude. He hasn't realized. Look, he's going to realize it right now. Okay. The 3 tanks could be kind of big here. They don't help against the Vikings, but... Ooh, good pickoff on the Raven. Kind of a big deal. I don't think we have any more Ravens in this army right now. So that was the only one. Spirit pushing through. It really felt like Clem had this game in the palm of his hand, but Spirit made one big bull-headed army of Thor's Vikings. And he is now pushing his way through. Clem. He's going to have to land his Vikings and take this fight without them. There are 3 siege tanks here for Spirit. So if Clem can somehow take those down, he'll be able to take a better fight. But this loosens up Spirit's side of the map. He's taking 2 bases right now. Clem's sending his Liberators out because, I mean, he kind of needs to do something on the other side of the map. I love how he's lifting command centers. They actually die faster in the air than they do on the ground. And he's losing a lot of his production. He's trying to rebuild barracks up to the upper left where Clem decided not to go. He's losing economy here. He's now lost 3 command centers, 3 bases. We do have Liberators getting damage done on the other side of the map, but maybe not enough. Although I gotta say, it's really nice damage. Clem diving in. He's gonna try to surround this army. I feel like he needs to land the Vikings, to be completely honest with you. But he's gonna go for the air fight first and try to just win in the skies. Can he actually do it? Not with the Thors blasting Vikings out of the skies. And Spirit, he's continuing to push. Clem had a stranglehold on him for so long, but as soon as Spirit broke it, he just walks to the other side of the map, and GG gets called. Clem's army couldn't actually take that straight-up fight. Hot damn. And now we're going to a game 3. Whew. Let's get into game 3. We're going to a smaller map, so it shouldn't go quite as big of a game, I feel like. We'll find out. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Curious Minds, we have our Mlem Clan Team Liquid player, Clem. So hard to say Mlem Clan. I don't know why. Something about like the shape my mouth makes. It's very difficult. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner, the blue Terran for Kitesy Gaming, Spirit. Look at those equal builds, mirrored builds here. That's why they call it a mirror matchup. It's like there's a mirror on the production tab. We'll see if anybody goes for any cheeky plays in game 3 here. We do see that occasionally. Like concussive shell marauder push or something like that. Those do come out every now and then. I was going to say I don't expect them, but to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in this game. But nope, just Reapers from both players. Nothing crazy. Clem's going to go for the Scout. Spirit deciding not to. He's like, no, I trust you. I trust you, bud. You're not going to do anything crazy. I mean, he's right, but the bold move. The bold move. Clem's a young man. Could make a rash decision and go for a proxy 3-racks Reaper. Reactor going down, so Clem gonna go for the double Reaper play. Does make you a little vulnerable if Spirit moves across the map with these 2 Reapers, but not usually the biggest concern. And I'm sure Clem could handle it if that did happen. We'll see how hard Clem goes on the Reapers this game. Could go for what Spirit did in game 1. And go for the, like, 6 Reapers. That's kind of insane. Don't really expect that, though. Maybe Spirit will go for it again. He's about to have this react to finish. Marines? Marines. Ah. Too bad. Kind of hoping for the Reapers. But, yeah, it's a pretty standard opener. Clem is still making more Reapers, so he's going to have 3 Hellions and 5 Reapers. And he'll be able to put some pressure on. I'm following it up with some Mariners, probably some tanks and Ravens, as you do. But he's going to put a little pressure on across the map. Spirit. Looks like he might be kind of ready for this. Does have a couple of those Marines out to help out in the fight. I think there's actually 4 Marines here, yeah. Pretty high DPS. But I'm going to dive in, though. He's got a lot of very microable units here. And that could be a problem for Spirit, as the Marines, they just don't quite have the movement of these early game Terran units. Which is why you see the early game Terran units, the Hellions and the Reapers. Spirit going to drop an auto turret to try to help out. Clem just stands around and fights against it, which is probably not the play, but he gets 5 SCV kills. Yeah, definitely a good start for Clem here. The 5 SCV kills really sealing it. Other than that, I mean, been fairly even trades, but gives himself a good advantage going into the mid game. Spirit not going to go for mech this game. It's a little too bad, actually, but I think it's a map-dependent thing. I do not think this map is particularly good for mech. Not a lot of expansions, Which, I don't know. In some ways, that can make it a little easier, but because the map is a little smaller, usually, conventional ideas says it's not great for mech. There's also big open spaces, which mech usually doesn't love. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not a great mech player, so I don't know what makes a great mech map. But Spirit has decided. He has deigned not to go mech on this map. So I will take his word for it, I guess, and assume this is not a good mech map. As it is, we got Stim on the way. Hank's coming out. Raven count? 2-2. Wow. Wow. Clem just still maintaining that economic lead and actually taking his third way earlier than Spirit. What the hell? Spirit's third CC is just started, and Clem is taking his. Wow, I guess that's a big benefit to the early game pressure that Clem is putting on. There isn't really much difference other than that. I do like the auto turret harass from Spirit, though. Gonna cause some ruckus over here. Drops a second auto turret. And a third auto turret. Oh my god. Right as the mule lands, too. Well, that's really nice for Spirit. He definitely needs to get something like that. It looks like he is going to lose one Raven. Would love to see him get this one out of there at least, but... Oh, no, he doesn't lose that Raven. Wow. Sorry, kicking the microphone. But even with that, Clem still maintains an economic lead. Of course, he's got that third CC, so big pull. But Clem's going to take that lead back now. But it's definitely a lot smaller than it was before. So Spirit getting something done here. Clem pushing out on the map, though. He knows he's got the Raven lead, which means he can shut down his opponent's tanks while making sure his tanks stay up. So he could definitely hold a position on this third. Ooh, but we got a double drop. I thought that was the Raven coming back, and it's a double drop. One of the medevacs gets taken out before all the Marines unload, so that's a good catch for Clem to start this off. The tank on the ramp is huge. Oh, man. 8 SCVs do go down, but that was 16 Marines and 2 medevacs for that, and I do not think that was worth it for Spirit, especially since Clem, again, he's got the 3 CCs up and running. He's already, I mean, he's back up. It's basically even workers. You know, the economy here, again, it's a big dip for Spirit, but then it's going to pop right back up and be either in Clem's favor or even. And now Clem is here with some full energy Ravens. One tank does go down, but a huge shot on the Marines. And Clem just has a fantastic position. He's going to stop this third base from pretty much ever happening. Spirit trying to dive forward, but 2 of his tanks get shut down and killed. And Clem holds the position. This is starting to look like Clem's game to lose. Another tank gets shut down. Clem inches forward. And he's going to be able to take that one out as well here, I think. Maybe it gets a shot off. No, because he doesn't even have vision. Ah, that is painful. Clem did lose his Ravens, but you know what? They got the job done. And he could just hold this position for a little while. Spirit's going to go ahead and take the other third, which is a great choice. But Clem taking some fantastic trades here. And he's still mining more. Clem is still up 6 workers. He's had this third base for like 3 minutes at this point. Spirit's landing his third at 9 minutes. That is so unbelievably late. It is insane. He's trying to hold on, but he's going to need to take a fantastic trade here. And I just don't know if it's going to happen. He doesn't even win that fight and kill a siege tank. Clem has air control. He's got more Marines. Clem has 1-1 done earlier. It's not going to matter, but he does. We have a huge run by for Spirit that's going to get quite a few SCVs, but it looks like he's going to lose both of those medevacs, which means he's going to lose all of these Marines. He gets 10 workers, which is going to put Clem behind for the first time in this game. But it doesn't feel like Clem's going to be behind for that long. He should be able to catch pretty much right back up. And again, it feels like it's just a nick in this economic lead. Although, to be honest, these are big gaps. kind of underestimate how much pulling a bunch of workers affects your economy, but this kind of goes to show that it matters a lot. So I'm trying to rotate around. He has a nice siege position over here. If he could get like a couple tanks up here, this would be huge. Yeah, I'd love to see him unsiege like 2 tanks, just to try to get him in a slightly better spot. Oh, he's not going to go for the lift and land down here. I really think he could, but he is being very annoying with the Cyclone on this side in any case. Spirit may be thinking about another counterattack. Those have worked kind of okay for him, but he's down 40 army supply right now, which means maybe he's got as much army as this out on the map, but that means there's 40 army supply back at home for Clem. And there's a siege tank up here. The sensor tower is going to go down, but I think Clem should be able to trade out decently enough here. Oh, there's 2 tanks here. Oh, man, and now we do have the Marines trying to take advantage of this little area, getting 9 kills, while Spirit doesn't really get much done back on the other side of the map. He's got a siege tank with this now. He's going to trim off a gas. I don't know, man. Spirit's little drop getting caught. But, oh, as I say that, Spirit actually shows up with some reinforcements. Is it enough reinforcements, though? I don't think it is. And I think with losing that army, Spirit might be forced to tap out. He's pulling back with his medevacs, but this is such a bad position for Spirit right now. He's down still 40, 50 army supply now. Just seems to be getting worse and worse. He's holding on to his 3rd at the very least, but Clem's taking a 4th. Clem is up nearly 10 workers, and it's not much that Spirit can do about it. He can't take his own 4th. He can't get anything to the other side of the map right now because he's barely got enough army supply to hold back at home. He unsieges. Clem's going to go for a split with his Marines, and he's going to take that down. GG gets called. Clem takes the 2-1 victory. What a slugfest. Both games 1 and 2, super back and forth. That one was the first game that felt just one-sided. Felt like Clem got ahead with that opening and never let go of that lead. And that is what we expect from Clem a lot of the time.